Well, good morning, everybody. Um, this is going to be a weird show, I think. Steve's a little under the weather, and he let me know last night that he wasn't going to be on the show. And I thought, well, I got to come up with something I can do by myself if I can't get somebody to come on and join me. So, um, there again, if anybody wants to join, scroll up, and I left the well, here, I'll just put it in here again. There's the link to come on. You can chat. We're going to talk today about favorite vendors. And since I've got to carry the show by myself and watch chat at the same time, this could be tough. Okay, Jason. Yeah, if you can come on, that's great. Um, anyway, in the description of the show, I listed several vendors that I use, and I use more than once. There's a lot of places I didn't list that I keep. I keep every place that I go to and look at for trains or scenery or structures or anything like that, or equipment tools. I keep that in a favorites folder, bookmarked, so I can go right back to them and find them. As you know, I buy a lot of my stuff on eBay. I only listed one person off of eBay that I use, and I'll talk about that here a little bit later. But anyway, let's get started with these. One of them that I use is called modelbuilding.com. Now I think they have flats and stuff, if I remember right. And what I used them for was a calculator. They've got a grade and curve calculator on their site that's really good for doing helixes or grades on your layout. It tells you, gives you a simple way of calculating how much space you need for how high you want to transition. And so I would suggest going there, and if nothing else, just get their calculator. You can download the calculator off their site, I think, and use it. But that's modelbuilding.com. Oh, by the way, I'm not getting, the show doesn't get paid for any of this stuff. I don't get paid for this. This is just, information for all of you out there. You may or may not have seen these and been to them, and you probably have, but I thought I'd share the ones that I use a lot and why I use them. The next one, of course, is Teespring. I use Teespring to go find everybody's coffee cups, that I collect coffee cups. And so I use Teespring for that. I also use it we use it for the show, for our shirts and stuff like that we have for sale. Also use it for my channel for t-shirts and stuff. And I did that basically for me. But if you want one of mine, personal ones, you can go to my Teespring site. Excuse me. Anyway, let me see here. Okay, see all who's in chat this morning. Steve's here. Hope you're feeling better, Steve. I'm feeling better. I got up this morning feeling really bad and lost all my dinner from an event we went to last night. I don't know if it was the calamari or what. But once I did that, I felt much better. So luckily it was just in time for the show. Anyway, Randall Ellison's here. Good to see you, Randall. Jason's here. John from Schuylkill. Good to see you, John. Who else is here? Oh, John's here. Morning, John. Where are you at this morning? That's always the question when we see you. We got to find out where you're at. Rob T-Man's here. Good morning, Rob. I know there's other people here. I told you this was going to be tough by myself. Dennis from Otter Creek. Dennis, you gave me your crap that you had last week, and I haven't even seen you. And Jerry, hey Jerry, I like the new title for your channel, Boxcar Jerry. We just call you Boxcar. Let's see who else is here. I know there's somebody else here. We did a lot of talking this morning. Uh-oh, there's Jason. Oh, Bernard's here.
Good morning. How are y'all?
I'm good now. Oh, Roy Eltham's here. Just Almar's here now. Yeah, this was going to be a weird show if I had to do this by myself. Lehigh River here. But there's Pappy. Good morning, Pappy. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the vendors that I use and a little bit why I use them. Some of them are just great people to deal with, and some of them their products are just really good that I like. I know I've talked a lot about Campbell Scale Models. They're another one that I like. Most of the buildings structures on my layout are going to be from Campbell. I'm doing an early transition period on my layout, so these buildings fit in because I can paint them up and make them look really nice, or I can dumb them down and make them look old. So they work really well. The only bad thing about them for some people is they're a craftsman kit. When I say craftsman kit, I mean a craftsman kit. You got to cut most of the wood yourself. Some of the instructions aren't very good, that sort of thing. But they're Tom Miller, who owns Campbell now, is very, very nice guy, very, very good to work with. So anyway, that's one of them.
One of the wood kits that I'm looking at getting into, Joey from Late Night Model Railroad has been using this ITLA kit, and I think it's laser cut wood, but it's like different modules that you can put together and customize how you want it. And so I'm thinking about going that direction for one of my buildings. So it's going to be kind of something new for me.
Sorry about that. I had to get my headphones in. For some reason, my phone doesn't want to, on this doesn't want to give me volume anymore unless I put my headphones in. I don't know what the deal is on that. But yeah, that, I go to Michael McCarville's channel all the time and watch his stuff, and he does a lot of the Berkshire Valley and Wild West and all those. And I know they're great kits because I've seen him build them. But when I see him build them and the steps that he does, he photographs each step. And it's almost, I told him, I said, it's almost like putting Tinker Toys together versus our old Craftsman kit. Because the old Craftsman kits, they're not like that at all. If you get a laser cut part, it's a brand new off the line thing, because Campbell finally started doing some of that, but only with their cardboard roofs and stuff like that, that they put the shingles on, where you used to have to cut them out of cardstock. Now they laser cut them, but they don't do any of the wood that way, from any of them that I've seen anyway. So,
well, I haven't done any of the wood kits yet, so this is going to be new territory for me when I order and get the stuff in. And I guess the main reason why I liked what this company offers is you can actually print the templates online on photo paper. You can glue it to foam board or foam core, and then just kind of temporarily set up what you want it to look like. And if you don't like the look, print, another module set out and just keep rearranging until you like that look. And I think that's the reason why I'm really wanting to go with this company for a industrial type building. Now, as far as like houses and things, that's a different story.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and it never hurts to look at all kinds of different stuff. I don't go to Walthers too much, only because they don't fit what I do on my layout.
Right.
Most of their stuff is modern, and it just doesn't fit with me. It's not that I don't like Walthers. They've got some good stuff, but it just doesn't fit my layout. So it's either too modern or too big, because they've
Yeah.
got some real big factory stuff, and I don't have that kind of room. I didn't
Right.
plan for that kind of layout, so I didn't leave the room for that sort of thing. So I didn't go that way. But and I'm old school. I'm old, so
So exactly what era are you modeling in, Claude? I know you're
I'm trying
modeling
to do.
steam.
Yeah, I'm trying to do late 40s, early
Okay.
50s. So very
So
early diesels.
right.
Um,
Transitional.
the GP7s, F3s, PAs, that kind of
Hmm.
stuff in the diesel. And then, of course, that lets me do pretty much any of the steam. I've kind of got a storyline for the narrow gauge part of it, which is actually the main part of the railroad. But I haven't finalized that yet where I want to put it out. I'll put it on my channel someday when I do that.
Gotcha.
It'll give the story behind the railroad.
So I see where Otter Creek is asking about the ITLA stuff I was talking about. No, you do not give them the blueprints and they laser cut it. They have a module setup. So it's like, 6, 7 different type of modules that are like 3 inches wide and so many inches tall. And you can choose which modules you want. And so you just print those modules out. In the window sections, you can either have glass or you can have like brick inserts. So it's really, really neat module type setup. If you want one that's got like a door for a truck to go in or a door for a box car to go in, you can print those out. It's offered on their website. So, but it's not one that you would give them blueprints and they would cut it for you. It's strictly their stuff. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I see. Joe Rader's come in. Sparky's here now. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's Steve 87 too.
Say again.
Steve 87th.
Oh, Steve Anderson's here. Yeah. Good to see you, Steve. Okay. Dennis is asking, is that what Rob Bennett used for his huge industrial building?
I'm not sure. Like I said, Joey from Late Night Model Railroad, I know that's what he's using for his small switching layout, and it looks really, really good. So, and Steve is saying I froze.
You did a little bit.
Uh,
You seem to be okay again now.
Probably internet connection or something.
Well, one of the hobby shops that I use all the time, not all the time, but a lot, and I've not really had personal interaction with him other than a note or two back and forth, it's Harris Hobbies. He's down in, I think, Athens, Texas, something like that. I can't remember exactly where he's at. But if you're having trouble finding something, go to Harris Hobbies. And he's got a lot of stuff that I find everybody else is out of. He may not have a lot of it in stock, but he'll probably have some because he's out. He's not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he's not in the Houston area or Austin or someplace like that. He's out in one of the smaller towns, so he does not get the walk-in clientele that the big cities would get.
Right.
But he does go to a lot of shows. I know he was at the Oklahoma City show here in December, and he's going to be in the Texas show if they haven't already had it. They may have already had it. I think it was last week.
They had a show last weekend.
Yeah, Plano, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he was going to that, or had up on his site that he was going to be going to that. So, but yeah, Harris Hobbies is good. Yeah, Dennis knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's not to say some of the other ones aren't. I didn't list everybody. These were just some of my personal favorites.
Right. I was going to try to go to the Plano show, but I couldn't get off that Friday because I was going to catch Amtrak and meet up with Robert Flying Crow, who lives down in Longview.
Mhm.
So I could easily take the Texas Eagle out of Little Rock, go down to Longview, and then I was going to ride with him up to Plano, but I couldn't get off of work. And by the time the train got into Longview that morning, you would already missed the first rush, and that's when all the good stuff is gone.
Yeah.
If you're not in that first crowd, you get slim pickings, in my opinion. So
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we had train service here. We don't have any train service here. They've been talking about it ever since I've lived here in the 70s. Moved up here in early 70s, and they've been talking train service between here and Oklahoma City and Dallas-Fort Worth for the whole time. And, of course,
Right.
nothing's happened. Another one of the vendors I use, and I know everybody knows this, is Fast Tracks, and a lot of people use them. I know Dennis uses them. They're really good. The only drawback to Fast Tracks is they're in Canada, and with the shipping problems we're having now. Now I just got a package from them, and I got it in like 4 days, 5 days, something like that. But the shipping's gone up. It's doubled from what it used to be. Now they're still giving free shipping if you get enough dollars in there. They will ship it free, but they've got great stuff. And if you don't make your own turnouts, you should be, because it's a lot of fun, I think.
right.
In fact, I'm doing my yard right now, so I'm taking turnouts and making different stuff. Took a 3-way turnout, and made a Y, just a Y out of it.
Cool.
And then if it doesn't match up just what I want to do, I'll tweak it, and it makes for some interesting track work. But yeah, Fast Tracks is another one that I like.
So when you build your ladders, like a yard ladder, are you one of those that build it in sections, or do you try to build the ladder as one full piece?
Well, my yard's not real big.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, mine comes in, it's got a single, it's a stub end, a yard, and I come in with 2 3-ways to start with, just for space consideration. And it's working because I've got my coal unloading's got to go in there also. And I did squeeze a runaround. I wasn't even going to put a runaround in it, which would have made for interesting operation. But I did finally put a runaround in it, and I came up with a little story for that too. So and I'll show that on my next deal. I was out there late last night working on it, even after we got back from this event that we went to. But no, I put mine in, as I need it.
Yeah. I would
Dennis,
like to do that, but I feel like I've got too many projects on my plate trying to get this layout built. So I'm kind of like, I don't really know if I want to do it right now. Maybe later, maybe. So.
Steve's asking me. Okay, Steve.
And Sparky's doing an amazing job getting all these links up there.
Oh, is he? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put them in the description. All the ones that I'm talking about, I put in the description. The next one is I've talked to this guy on the phone. Really nice guy. Dave, I think is his name, at Barrett Hill Trains. This is the touch toggle system, which is what I'm going to use. And I really like it. Like I say, I've got some 3-ways in it, and I also have a Y on the upper deck. I'll have a couple of Ys on the upper deck. They've got a toggle that does both of those. So instead of having to have 2 or 3 switches to move these things around, you hit the route that you want, and it'll move it where it needs to be.
So it's kind of like a double tortoise per se.
Almost, yeah. It's what it is. It replaces the old toggle switches. Okay.
Right.
Instead of having to have a toggle switch and then an LED on there if you want to have an indicator, it's all in one. I did a show on it, or an update on it, back early on my channel, and I kind of showed how they work. But you just touch them, and they'll change, and it'll move the switch and change the color of the LED. And there's different ways you can do it. He's got 2 light LEDs, red and green, green and green, red and red, whatever you want to do. Single LED that just changes color.
Right.
But it's a real clean, simple way of doing it without having a whole bunch of toggles. And they plug into modules, and then you just run that wires from the modules to your switch machines.
See, I was planning on doing that, and I was trying to figure out because, like, I've got the LEDs for like a normal turnout, and you can wire those straight up to a tortoise,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, have it to where, green is straight, red's for diverging on my fascia. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I've got this three-way turnout on this section of my switching puzzle that I put in. And of course, if most people don't know, a three-way turnout's actually two turnouts that overlap each other.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got both, points going to the right, your train's going to go left. If both points are going to the left, then your train goes right. In order to go straight, you got to have 1 point to the left and 1 point to the right. So that way it'll go straight.
Yeah.
And if you have it backwards, well, it's still going to go, it's not going to work. So I was trying to find a way, an easy way of doing that. So that way, knowing which way it's going. And so, because I got to use two tortoises, one for the front points and one for the back points. And I didn't. So is it like a module that wires up to the tortoises?
Yeah, it's the best way to, best thing for me to do is tell you to go to that link and look it up. Everything's on that link. Excuse me. But it's a setup, and I've already got one. I've got to get another one for another three-way. But it's a setup where
and it's AZA tracks or AZA tracks?
No, not AZA tracks. Barrett Hill trains.
Barrett Hill trains. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to look.
But yeah, check that out.
Look into that.
Yeah, they're. I think it's a really neat way of doing it. Hey, Lee.
Hello, Claude. Hello, Jason.
And Steve's here watching TV. Oh, he's watching the show on the. He's watching show on TV. There you go.
Yeah. And he's got himself muted, so that way we don't get that crazy echo. Yeah. Good morning, Lee. How are you?
Not too bad. I've just been. I'm regenerating me fiddle where all me wagons, where sidings are. I've ripped all the how it used to be. I'm regenerating it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, and I had a better idea.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's not got. Because I'm putting black card down on it, but because it's all the way it's all done, it's all curves, isn't it? Me track and all that. I'm having to get the cuts right and everything. It's time consuming.
Oh, here Lynn McCurdy's put this up. The TLRC has this system on their yard. So you're on track 6 and you want to go out on the main number 1, push one button and all the turnouts turn that position. There are several things out there, I think, that will do that. You can program that in.
Yeah, that sounds more like a macro. Like if
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what system that they're using, but I know Eric with IMRO.com. He uses NCE, and he actually programs macros in his system for his staging. So that way he'll macro one track and all the turnouts line up.
I think he can do that with Digitrax too.
I'm pretty sure he can.
I see guys talking about it on the forums all the time because I get that stuff pops up on my phone. So they're talking about having problems with getting it fixed to do that and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's just basically a programming thing that you can get if you're using stationary turnout control.
Right.
Stationary decoders, which is I'm not going to use. I'm going to use the touch toggles, but I'm going the old school where you've got to do it manually. No more than I'm going to have. It'll keep me interested longer doing that. If I had to push one button and just go, it would not be nearly as much fun.
That's the way I'm operating. I've got 1, 2. I've got a point going into a train shed, and then it can either go off to another siding or onto a big long side, and they're all operated manually. I just do the little switch back manually. It's easier.
Yeah. Dennis says he's using it with LCC, and I know Arduino will do the same thing.
So LCC is what I'm going into.
You've got
There's
a lot of
opportunities.
sidings on that layout, though, Jason. That layout's come on leaps and bounds.
Thank you, Lee. It's still a work in progress. I got to build a stud wall today, so.
Ooh, hey,
Mhm.
a
That's gonna be
layout
fun.
room, a layout room is never finished. Oh, speak of the devil,
Yeah.
the other half ringing me.
Lee, you might need to take that. That sounds important.
I know it's from the other half. I've got to go and run. I've got to go and do chores. It's only 3:26 in the afternoon, so I need to go and run round and do chores. I just thought I'd jump up for a bit.
I think the next one I had written down is narrow gauge Colorado. Now I know this doesn't apply to a lot of people, but he's got more than just narrow gauge stuff. In fact, he's the one that I was buying my 6 packs of Tortoise switch machines for $86 a 6 pack.
Oh, that's good.
It was by far the best I could find. They're $130 now, which is more in line with what everybody's selling them for. I don't know if he had a big stash of these things that he could sell them that much cheaper, but I'm glad I bought several packages of those back when he had them at that price, because I still have some up there. Of course, my yard's going to eat up most of that I have, but he's got really good stuff. He does consignment sales. I think he does decoders and engines and stuff like that too. I think I know the guest we had on, David Vollmer, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was.
4 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yeah, he knows this guy. Of course, they're in the same area in Colorado.
Gotcha.
And he knows the guy and gets a lot of stuff from him. So for narrow gauge, he's great. And he's got a lot of other stuff too, a lot of buildings, a lot of structure kits that are a good price. That stuff. He does closeout stuff all the time. So that's a good place to check out too if you've not been there, because you never know what you might find from him. Then another one that I think everybody's probably been to, and this guy's in Salina, Kansas, if I remember right, is Scenery Made Easy. And he's the one I got. I met him in Oklahoma City show 2 or 3 years ago and got the fusion fiber that I use on the layout. But I've also bought stuff for trees and that sort of thing. He's got the real nice looking trees and stuff like that you can buy either made already or buy the kits and make them yourself. Excuse me. Getting old.
I haven't even been watching any of the Back on Tracks at all, Jason. I haven't been watching. I've had to watch it on reruns sometimes. I'm not on the internet late at night no more.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Nah,
that's not a bad thing.
I was on Steve Childers' one yesterday. Was it yesterday? And Nissy was up. And I said Nissy J was up, and I tell her now, her logo. Have you seen her logo, Jason?
Yeah, I have. I like her new logo.
Rick helped her do it, I think.
Yeah, Rick was telling me all about it. We have a group chat just with the Sidetrack Sunday members. You know, I'm sure Back on Track probably has something like that too, and Rick was sharing it with us in there. So they did a real good job on it, because she wanted to tie it in with the railroad that she models, which is the Seaboard Airline. And the Seaboard Airline, you know, their trademark logo is that heart.
Yeah,
you know, so.
I do look at some of the American stuff. I do like some of the other stuff. I am actually working on me loft layout now as well. I've started rewiring it. and that's a long process.
Oh yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to having to wire up all mine. I've been trying to do it as I go, but it doesn't always work.
It's been wired, but I've got a couple of shorts in places, so I'm back up there doing that. But I'm working on this layout as well. I've got this layout that is the 4x8, and I've got my 26-foot layout in the loft, both double O, so I can run both trains on the two different layouts. But
Yeah.
will I ever finish any of the layouts? Because I've got two. I'm thinking, will I ever finish them? They'll outdo me.
No, you won't ever finish it.
Yeah.
No.
I watch these channels and they say, yeah, they're finished. And then I look at what they've got and I'm like, no, there's lots of stuff you can do to that. They're just not working on it.
See, like for me, with this layout I'm currently building, it's a spiral design. So, and it's bi-level, meaning that I've got 10 walls. It's literally 5 walls per each level. And when you think about it, I've only got 3 walls completed as far as bench work and track. So I've got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Well, you're young though, so you got time. Yeah. I'm not so young. I was telling Steve the other day, I said, I got to get this thing almost done, if not completed, before I can't get up the stairs. They still trying to get you, Lee?
Big.
Is that you buzzing, Lee?
Yes. Yeah, I need to get chores done.
Yeah, you better get it done before you get in trouble.
I know. Well, I do like watching on track, but I need to go and get some daily chores done because it's only coming up.
Well, the next vendor I have on my list is Lark Products, LARC Products. He's up in New York, upstate New York. He does the backgrounds that I use, and not only do they have backgrounds, but they've got a DVD that you can get that's got all kinds of stuff on it, signs and store interiors, building fronts, small backdrop sheets that you can string together.
I'm going to drop anyway, Claude.
Okay.
I need to get someone in round done. I'll see you around on the next one, probably, Claude. See you in this. I'll look out for the odd stream if I can. Jason, I'll look out for your next video. When have you got anything coming out?
I've got one coming out tomorrow.
Oh, cool. I'm still doing my Sunday scratch build live on a Sunday as well at 12 Eastern Standard. That's still ongoing. I'm never going to give that one up. It's took off on it.
Yeah.
Could I do it? I do that. That's involved with John from Skullcurl. I emailed him and I'm still carrying that on. I'm never going to give that up. It was started as as a model build Sunday, and I've just kept it going. But I don't know if anyone had seen my video of a train I had built by Nate Delay.
That's pretty cool.
Out of Popcans, he built me it and sent me it. I can't believe he done it. He sent it to me. I watched the video. It winds up and everything. I had Nate on my not last Sunday, the Sunday before. He was up on my stream the day I got it, or a couple of days after I got it, and I couldn't believe he'd sent it to me. I didn't think it was going to happen because I thought, how's he going to send that? He must have got away sending it as a gift. Because it's hard to send things to here in the UK from the States.
Well, you take care, Lee. We'll see you.
Next
time.
See you next time. Thank you. See you again, Jason. Bye.
All right. You too, Lee. You take care, bud.
Will do. Bye.
Bye.
But Lark Products makes all kinds of background backdrop stuff. Pretty good size lengths of backdrop. But like I say, the little CD that you can get too has got all kinds of stuff from the graffiti for loads, container loads, that sort of thing, to to signs for fences and buildings and storefronts, and it's, you know, it's got building fronts and stuff on it. It's got all kinds of stuff on the CD. See, I'll switch this to that. That looks
There
a
you
little
go.
better. We'll put Gus front and center there. Oh, that's not Gus. That's blue.
Is that blue?
That's blue. But yeah. Anyway, he's a good one to work with too. They can you find one that you like. If it's going the wrong way, he can reverse it. He can go in and take stuff out of it. Things like that if you want. So all you got to do is just put a note in your deal, and he'll send you back a proof and the cost and all that kind of stuff on it. The next one I got listed on that list is Azatrax. Now, Azatrax is the place that I found for my spring switches that I use on my return loops on the standard gauge. So I didn't have to go. I can turn the standard gauge on and just let it run, and it'll go through the reverse loops like it was using a spring switch. But what it is a sensor that picks up the turnout. It'll go in, and then as it comes out, just before it comes back through that switch, it'll turn it back the other way. As the train goes through, then it'll turn back to the normal position. But they've got several different little things like that you can get, crossing, you know, signal boards and all kinds of stuff like that that they have that you can get. So it's a really interesting place for electronic stuff like that to do stuff on your layout. And it wasn't very expensive. It was very, very cheap, as a matter of fact, considering what I was expecting it to be.
Right. With me building this layout, I was looking at possibly trying to implement something like that on just a few of my turnouts.
Yeah. Hey, Marcel, good to see you.
Hi, Marcel. Looks like Dwight Curley popped in as well. So what's going on, Dwight?
Hey, Dwight. All righty. Let's see the next one. I was looking for some mountain goats, some bighorn sheep for my mountain, and I could not find them anywhere. None of the big vendors had anything. And I found mini prints. Somebody told me to check mini prints, and he had a really nice little selection. Now I've got to paint them,
right,
which I didn't want to have to do, but they're really nice little models, and they've got all kinds of stuff there.
I'm thinking Humanity Junction picked up mini prints as a sponsor, so
they may have.
He might have a discount code for them. So.
I didn't get all that much, so it wasn't that big a deal. But excuse me. But they are a really nice, site. Another one, I haven't actually used this one yet, and I'm not sure if this is a hobby shop or if he just sells electronics like decoders and stuff, but I found this I ran across it online, and I thought I'd throw it in here. This is Tony's Train Exchange, and I don't know if anybody else has dealt with them or not.
I have.
But they got the little Nix
Decoder Buddy.
Decoder Buddy, yeah, and I'm going to try some of those. I haven't gotten them yet, but I want to try some of those. When I saw they had them for the 21 pin and stuff like that, that have some of the decoders that I have, I thought I might try that, because you knock your decoder cost, total installation cost down about 20-30% at least by using those. And I've heard some good things about them, so I'm going to try them too.
I've got one. I haven't installed it yet. I had a Southern Pacific U50 given to me, and the board that came in there, it's got the 21 pin decoder attached, but the main board in there didn't separate the lighting functions for, Southern Pacific. They would have a more strobe on the upper light, and then the nose would just be a solid light. And so when I turn the headlight on, it's just all solid lights. And knowing me being prototypical that I am, I tried to take the other lights off and move it to another jumper on the board, and the lights would never work, even after programming it. So it's definitely an issue with the main board. So I'm going to replace that main board with that Decoder Buddy and see if I can't try to, get those lighting functions separated and even add some more to it just to make that model much better.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're really inexpensive, I thought.
It's not a bad price. It was like, what,
No.
$20-$30, something like that?
Yeah. I don't even know if they were that much for the ones I was looking at. But then to be able to just take pretty much any decoder, as long as you've got the one that matches up, whether it's 21 pin or whatever, and just plug it in. Yeah, that's fantastic. Steve's going to make us all sick again. What? Oh, it's the small dog. She's up there.
Yeah.
Up on the couch. Yeah, she goes, yeah, leave me alone.
Yeah, my dogs, they're not dogs, they're horses. I've got Great Danes, so one of them's over here sitting looking at me like, when are you going to get off?
Anthony's asking the question. Decoder Buddy, why need it? Well, the reason I was looking at it, because the first decoder I put in, first 2 or 3 I put in were from TCS. And I love them. And I bought the kits. Now, the kits, I got a pretty good price on them. They were less than $110, just under $110. And it has everything on it. It's got the one thing it does have on the board that I like is got the, can't think of it now. Anyway, got the keep alives on it. It's built into their board.
Yeah.
So that's one thing about theirs. But then they've got the decoder. They give you the decoder, the board, the speaker, all that comes in the kit with it. But if you were looking for just the decoder, I can get the decoder that's on there for about $60. But it's got to have a board to plug into. Well, the Decoder Buddy was only like, I want to say $15, something like that. So you save a lot because the one from TCS is a lot more now. Yes, it does have the keep alive on it. Excuse me. So if you have to have the keep alive or you want the keep alive, you just have to add one and that'll bring the cost back up. But you can do a lot of stuff with that Decoder Buddy from what I'm reading that would save you some money.
And another good thing about it too is if you got a locomotive that's got, like what we call the PMP or the plug and play boards, if you replace that with the Decoder Buddy with the 21 pin, then once the new decoders come out, like new generations decoder, all you gotta do is pop the 21 pin off and pop the new 21 pin on, and you've just upgraded your locomotive. Yeah. So that's another reason why to go to it. The other thing is, I think there is a separate light board on there, so all your lights are wired to a separate board, so that way if you do need to take the shell off to like service the motor, lube and oil it, you can actually fully detach the shell away without having to unplug every single light wire. And that just makes things easier as well.
Oh, sure it would.
Yeah, it's got benefits for sure.
Dennis says keep alives are awesome, and they are awesome, but they do have a drawback. If you've got a lot of hidden track, like I do in my Helix and my Mountain, and they derail, they tend to want to keep going. So if you do use a lot of keep alives and you've got hidden trackage, and I've got to get in the Mountain and do this. I don't have it on all the track in there. But you better put in some safety fences because otherwise your locomotives, you're going to hear them hit the floor at some point if they come off. So that's the one drawback to a keep alive. But yeah, they are awesome. First time I took the one that I put in, I took the engine off the track and the thing ran for 30 seconds after I took it off the track.
Yep.
It was crazy. So
And
now
hitting the emergency stop button doesn't work either.
yeah. And you got to stop it and then take it off the track.
Yeah.
Because you'll still get the sound, but at least you got the wheels have stopped on you. So it doesn't go rolling across the desk on you. Yeah. And the last one I had up there is this is the guy on eBay. I know he's in China, and I really hate buying stuff from China, but it's really tough not to buy anything from China anymore. But I bought some LED lights, and they come already wired into fixtures, and I've shown some of them on some of the models that I've put them on. I also have some street lights and stuff that are just awesome looking. And I just yesterday got my lights for my icing platform that are going to go on there. They look like a street light, but they're shorter. So they look like something you'd see on an old fishing dock or something like that.
Oh, cool.
I got some of those, and then some that just hang like the old single light bulb with the shade on it. I got some like that too, and they're super cheap.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen them on eBay.
And I was worried that, okay, half of these aren't going to work when I get them. I have yet to have one that I've tested, and I haven't tested every one I've gotten, but every one that I have tested have worked just fine. So, and that's the only thing I buy from him are the LED lights when I want them. They come with the resistors. He'll send you a pack of resistors with every box of lights that you get. So it's a really good price. But there again, if you need something like that, that's a good place to go. It's his name on eBay is We Honest.
Yes.
But he does have some really good lights and stuff on there. So I highly recommend them. And that's really the list that I had. And there are a bunch out there that I still use that I didn't get on the list, but I was doing this about 1 o'clock this morning. So trying to get that list out so I could do the show today. But and I really appreciate you coming on, Jason.
Yeah, no problem.
Because it's really hard to do it all by yourself sometimes, and you can't stay on the chat too. In fact, I didn't stay on the chat today.
I really didn't either. It didn't really look like there was a lot of questions. It was just mostly positive comments about some of the vendors that you use and whatnot. And Sparky has done an amazing job of posting links and whatnot for people that do ask, hey, where can I go to get that? So
yeah, I put them all in the description under this, but thank you, Sparky, for doing that during the show. And I profoundly apologize for clearing my throat every 5 seconds, but I'm lucky I was here this morning, because when I got up, I thought, oh, I'm going to have to put a I'm sorry, we're not going to be here this morning on the show. But I sat there for a little bit and then said, oh, I better make a trip into the bathroom because I'm going to get sick. And I sure enough did. And after that, I felt great. So it was probably something I ate last night, most likely.
Yeah. And we also got to, thank Steve 87th for being the chat comedian. So he's keeping everyone in the chat in a good mood. So that's a good thing. So.
Oh, he always does.
Yeah.
He always does.
I would not expect anything less from Steve.
No, he's comes up with some stuff and gets me just tears coming out of my eyes.
Anthony, Georgia Sunbelt does have a question. Decoder Buddy, is that the way to go for converting Athearn blue boxes? So Anthony, here is the thing when it comes to Athearn blue boxes. A lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times the motors do not respond to a decoder for some odd reason or another. So with the Athearn blue boxes and even the very first generations of ready to rolls, you have to replace the motor. And sometimes that also involves replacing the drive shafts as well. And that's just to go even just DCC, no sound. That's an issue that I have ran into many times. So just kind of keep that in mind when it comes to the blue boxes.
I used to have a bunch of those. I don't anymore. That was back in my high school days when and I had a HO layout back then, but I gave all that to a children's hospital place to a guy that worked with the kids there, and so I just donated it all because I had to get it out of my room. You can imagine having in a regular sized bedroom, I had a 4x12 layout and my bed and my dresser. So that's what I put up with to get a layout. Steve needs a wrench. What's Steve need a wrench for? Oh, Steve Anderson needs a wrench, I guess is what Steve Arnold's saying.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know if I want to go back and read that. That might be good. I missed all that.
Yeah. So Joe Rader is saying that all his blue boxes have Digitrax hardwired decoders. So, and like I said, some of them I could wire a decoder up easily. It didn't matter if it was Digitrax, TCS, even, going sound with soundtracks. Some of them, you got to replace the motor. It's, like I said, it's not all of them, but it's just some of them. Probably a majority of them.
And it's been so long since I've had one of those open. Are those DC when they're a DC locomotive in the blue box? Are they grounded to the frame?
The rail pickups do go through the frame, and you do have to isolate.
Yeah, but they still didn't want to work.
Still didn't work. A funny thing is the last one that I dealt with, and this was a Athearn ready to roll, and it didn't say DCC ready on it. So it was connected just like the old blue box. And this was the time that Steve Anderson sent me 4 locomotives to work on, and I ended up replacing. It was one of these boards that came with his. I think it's a Jeep 40. It's the Steve. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the Florida East Coast one you sent me, and it had the little jumper on the board that you could go from DC to DCC. And so I went and took it up to the hobby shop in Bald Knob, and he's got a HO display track. The outer track is DCC, the inside track is DC. And so when I took this decoder and put it on this guy's locomotive, when I had the jumper in DC, it would go around the DC track all day long. But as soon as I popped it out of DC, put it into DCC, even after doing a factory reset on it, it still would not move. Headlights would work, backup light would work, no movement. So, and that's when I did some research and found out that sometimes you have to replace the motors.
Okay, Jason, maybe you can answer Sparky's question because he's still not knowing about that. Anthony's asking the same question and Steve's asking the same question.
Okay, so when do you use a decoder buddy? Probably one of the things that I'm fixing to start looking into as I'm doing installs for customers is going away from the PMP boards and going straight with a decoder buddy so that way I can use a 21 pin. That way, for future reference, you can, if you need to take the shell off, you can take off the light board. So that way, if you need to service your locomotive, you can run it around the track without the shell being attached. And then the other thing is to provide easy upgrade for future decoders. If your locomotive's already got the PMP board in there, then I just leave it alone and not mess with it. But I would only do that if you're trying to go from like a DCC ready to, DCC with sound or just DCC with lighting. That's my opinion.
Well, and they're like in the case of TCS, they're cheaper than their motherboard. They replace a motherboard is what they do.
Right.
On your decoder. It doesn't replace the decoder, just the motherboard part of it. But it gives you another option and they're much cheaper. So just look at the site and read about it. They explain it pretty well, I think, on there. It's been a while since I've been in there, but I kept the link and I remembered looking at it before and thinking this might be something I want to go with. So Yeah, Steve, that's exactly what we're saying. It really just replaces the motherboard part of your decoder setup. It doesn't replace the decoder, but it'll replace the decoder setup. They'll replace the motherboard in that setup.
So think of it this way, Steve. It's like when you normally see, this style of decoder, this is what we call the PMP board.
Yeah.
All your lights solder to it, your rail pickup solder to it, your speaker solders to it, and your motor also solders up to it. On the Decoder Buddy, which is the main board, the only thing that solders to it is the rail pickups and the motor, and possibly the speaker. There's a small little board that sits right on top of it, and that's where all your lighting functions solder up to it. So if you take the shell off, you can pull that board off and totally remove the shell away from the locomotive. Just don't glue in the speaker, in other words. And then, of course, your decoder will go on the other end of the board and sit on top of it. And so that's how it works.
Yeah,
I would show it to you, but it's actually in a box in a tote. So I don't.
Well, and that was a
that.
Soundtracks board you had there, correct?
Yes.
And I haven't priced one of those in a while. What's that cost? That board? What did that cost you?
Now, of course, I'm a Soundtracks dealer, so I get them a little cheaper. But I'm selling those for about 105, 100 to 105, 110, somewhere in that area. So I'm selling them for 20% off of what Soundtracks' website sells them for.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Hopefully that explains it. Dennis says he's got one for a 280 brass 280 project. He still hadn't gotten around to. I've got a couple of those that I got to do. Actually, I've got 3 of them I got to do.
Now, one of the things on brass, if you're going to put a sound decoder in a brass steamer and, the loco is picking up one rail and the tender picks up the other, definitely make sure you have a current keeper in there. And then that will really help when going across the turnouts and stuff. It's a lot easier to do that than trying to wire up the locomotive to have both left and right rail, and the same with the tender.
Yeah.
So
anyway, well, we ran the hour out pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you coming on, Jason.
Yeah, and Joe's actually calling me the Decoder Buddy because I do the installs. So.
Well, I didn't know you were a Soundtracks dealer, so I might be sending you something too. So, yep. and by the way, while I got you on here, I know we were planning to go to the show in Bentonville last year. When is that? Are they going to have that again?
Yes, they are. It is February. I was actually going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I want to go.
February the 26th.
February 20th. I'm going to write that down right now.
And
I don't forget.
There's a possibility that Robert Flying Crow might be coming up too.
Okay.
So.
Well, we'll have to get Dennis to come over and go. That's only a 3-day drive for him. He's about 4.5, 5 hours west of me. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty good drive for him to get over there, but it's doable, Dennis.
Yeah, February the 26th is the Northwest Arkansas Train Show. It was really good last year. I actually have a video of last year's train show, and I got some really good deals last year.
I watched that. Well, it's just they're so few and far between here.
Right.
Oklahoma City has theirs the 1st of December, which I didn't get a chance to go to. And then they have that one, which I didn't get to go to last year when we were going to go. I think I had something else I couldn't.
So
I couldn't go, or you couldn't. Well, you did go, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I did go. You had something come up. Dennis, it's in Bentonville, which is the very far northwest corner of the state. That's actually where Walmart's headquarters is located. So it's Walmart everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So now in August, let me get the dates on it. I can tell you this one too. August the 20th and 21st, The Jacksonville train show is actually moving to Conway, so that's a little closer to you, Claude. That'll save you about an hour off your trip.
What was the date again?
August 20th and 21st. And I will actually have a booth at that train show. And he's moving it to Conway because in Jacksonville, he ran out of space for vendors. So he was having to turn vendors away. So he had to find a bigger place. So that's always a good problem to have, if you run out of space for your vendors and whatnot. So, but that's in Conway, Arkansas. That's about 45 minutes northwest of Little Rock on I-40.
And Dennis, you're asking about Bentonville. The easiest way for you to get to Bentonville is come 412 through Tulsa, go all the way to Springdale, turn north. There's a highway, and I don't remember the highway number.
It's I-49.
I-49 that goes north out of Springdale toward Bentonville. And they have grown. I've been driving through there for 40 years, and it's amazing to see how it's grown. But it's crazy how busy that highway is now going to Bentonville, and Northwest Arkansas has just gone nuts with construction. But that's where it's at. You go up that way and you run into Bentonville.
And it's at the Benton County Fairgrounds. And to get there, you bypass this Walmart distribution center. You pass this Walmart distribution center. Then you pass that Walmart distribution center. There's like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Huge warehouses. Huge.
Yep.
So.
No, that's a single day event, isn't it, Jason?
I think it's a double.
Is it a 2-day?
Let's see here. Sugar Creek Train Club. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Sugar Creek Model Railroad. Just Saturday, February the 26th. So it's a 1-day show.
Okay.
And it's their 19th annual. So that's pretty awesome. 19 years.
Yeah, that's good. Dennis, I would even supply a room halfway there for you on the way over and the way back if you want. I've got plenty of room in this house to put you up. So anyway, that's our hour. In fact, we're a little over our hour.
So how far from Eureka Springs? Eureka Springs is probably what, an hour maybe?
Maybe, and that's only because of the roads.
Yeah.
It's not very far as the crow flies, but the roads
pretty curvy.
Yeah. They've straightened them out some, but they're still fairly curvy.
Now, Eureka Springs does have a tourist train that's pulled by a steam locomotive.
Yes, it is. I've ridden it.
So
they go downhill from town. They go downhill into the holler,
right.
if you want to call it that. And they stop, and I think they had an old Y there at one time. And he blows the steam. He blows it down. And lets you get off the train. If you want to get in the blowdown, you can. I wouldn't suggest doing that, but you can. It was hot today. We did it. And he said, if you want to cool off, come over here. The kids all ran over there and got soaked. But the fun part of that trip was the trip back up the hill, because then you're under load, and that's what it really felt like. Because going downhill, he's just on the brakes. He's just coasting. Yeah. Going down. But riding it up was fun. It's just not long enough.
Yeah, that's the only downside. It's a railroad that went bankrupt years ago, and they abandoned a lot of their track, and it's because they were having to compete. They had to compete with the Mopac.
Yeah. Well, they do a dinner train on there now, don't they?
I don't know if they do. I know the Ozark Zephyr out of Branson, Missouri does a dinner train.
Okay. Well, I was thinking they had a dinner train on there where I think they sit in town and have dinner. I don't think they actually move the train while you're having dinner, but
maybe.
It seems like, Dennis, it was diesel when Dennis rode it. Too bad. The steam train, I don't even remember what kind of engine it was, but it was steam engine.
I think it's either an American or a 10-wheeler. It's small.
But yeah, they had. I was there last in the evening. There was people sitting in a dining car on that track there at the station. So I was assuming they had a dinner train.
Yeah.
It looked like they were eating dinner, and they may have just had it parked there using it as a restaurant. I have no idea, really. We didn't go in.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Anyway, we need to get off of here, guys. Thanks to everybody showing up. We had a good crew in today.
Yeah.
And all Jason's doing, not mine.
I don't know about that.
Well,
I came on late.
I'm feeling much better. And which my wife was really worried because she's going on a cruise in a week, and she was going, "Oh, you're sick too? Now I got to stay away from you." So,
well, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, anytime. And Steve, you get better. Hope you're feeling better. He's really moving along well with his stuff. He's starting on the wood on his tender. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll be doing an update here for long. So when you see that update come out, take a look because it's going to look really cool.
Yeah, I need him to come and install some 7.5-inch gauge track around my yard so that way I have something to ride on.
Do you have an engine?
No, but that doesn't mean I can't get one. That would be motivation.
You can do a hand car. Build a hand car. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
The kids would love that, man.
Yeah.
And they'd wear them out. Send them out there an hour before bed and tell them to go around about 10 times. And wear them right out. Okay, well, we got to get off here, man. We've been on way too long.
All right. Thanks, Claude.
Everybody have a good day and a good week. And take care. And we'll see you next time.
All right, y'all have a good one. Bye.